Jurassic Marsh is the easiest, most pointless world in the entirety of Plants vs Zombies 2, but on the plus side, there are dinosaurs. This world was so incredibly easy, I beat it all in just under 90 minutes, but there are still dinosaurs to see and jokes to be made, so let's see what this disappointment of a world has to offer. But first, why don't you like and subscribe to see my final form in your sleep? And in case you missed it, the previous videos in this challenge are on the playlist on screen. We start Jurassic Marsh on day 1, where the plants continue to verse the zombies, and we don't even meet the world's gimmick. Instead, we just have a bunch of high health zombies, which I bust out the Sunbeam for. Similar to my last Plants vs Zombies run, the Sunbeam made these days trivial, and it continues to do so on day 1. The only difference with this day 1 is we meet a new zombie type, the head zombie, who just has a lot of head. Day 1 of every world is usually pretty easy, and the same goes here, but to save all of your sanity, I have decided to change the word easy into the phrase Barney's big blue balls. Moving on to day 2, it was the exact same thing, and it was Barney's big blue balls. Day 3 was a conveyor belt day where we chill with Bill, and on day 4, we finally meet the gimmick of this world, dinosaurs. Specifically, the Kyle Crane dinosaur, who 2-foots any zombie further into my lawn. I thought this would create some issues, but my good old friend the Sad Tomato dealt with all these zombies before it could even be a problem. In the end, Barney's big blue balls got me, and they did the same in day 5 as well. Continuing on to day 6, we meet another new dinosaur, the red one. Now I really like the red one. What he does is he uses his red dinosaur powers to shove zombies into other lanes where they can cause the most havoc. Unfortunately, his powers proved futile against my Sad Tomatoes where they all got incinerated. Needless to say, Barney's big blue balls returned, but did I mention I really like the red one? Day 7 was the chillest day with Bill, and on day 8, nothing happened that was interesting at all, other than the insane amount of sunbeam stacking on the very first zombie, giving me thousands of sun, allowing me to clear this day with Barney's big blue balls. I genuinely hate the Jurassic Marsh so much, not because it's easy, but because it's just so fucking boring, to the point where I questioned why I wouldn't just skip over this dull ass world. Then I remembered I'm doing this all for my beloved friend, the red dinosaur. Continuing on to day 9, it was a day we had to beat with given plants. On day 10, something interesting finally happened. We met the pharmacist dinosaur, who I thought would have actually caused me more problems than he did, since he picks up zombies and drops them off right behind my Sad Tomato in order to give me back shots. Although I'd eventually realised I could just use my jalapeno on the zombie drop behind me, so it didn't become an issue in the slightest. I guess you could say this day was Barney's big blue balls. On day 11 we encountered a little bit of trouble with the pharmacist dinosaur, but it's nothing I couldn't handle. I beat this day on my first attempt, just like every other fucking day in this shit world. Continuing on to day 12, I thought it would be an interesting day with us not being able to lose more than 6 plants, which includes any of our sunbeam uses, but then, with my bramble friend returning, it wasn't an issue in the slightest. In fact, I even managed to remember to put brambles behind the sunflowers in case the pharmacist dinosaur decided to come give us back shots. Naturally, I beat this day first try, and don't judge me for this setup, I was fed up of this world already. On day 13, we soloed the whole day with just the Sad Tomatoes, and it was Barney's big blue balls, and on day 14, we dealt with a given plant day, followed by day 15, which I thought could have actually posed a challenge. But since this is Jurassic Marsh, I was wrong, and I beat the whole day with 4 fucking plants. How the fuck is this day the sequel to Neon Mixtape Tour? Was the balancing guy at PopCap just snorting coke and bashing one out? I guess we'll never know. On day 16 we chilled with Bill, followed by a blue ball day on day 17. Literally nothing happened at all, just take my word for it. Fortunately, day 18 gave me something to yap about since we meet another new dinosaur. The Cutie Patootie dinosaur, who speeds up all the zombies in their lane until they meet one of my cool, awesome plants. Now, this would be a cool gimmick in theory, but in the end I realised I could just counter this dinosaur's entire mechanic by putting down one sunbeam, stopping these zombies in their tracks. At least he's cool to look at though. Needless to say, I did this day on the first try. Day 19 was the chillest build day yet, and on day 20 we had to produce over 2,000 sun, which I managed to do before we even got to the halfway point of this day. To give myself something interesting to say, I'm now going to plug my Twitch, so why don't you come and give me a follow over at twitch.tv/Huey to see me suffer on my next stream, which will inevitably be Big Wave Beach. Continuing through Jurassic Marsh, day 21 was Barney's big blue balls and day 22 was a plan your defences day. Naturally, I used my best defence setup yet. When recording this day, I actually went for a massive shit and I came back and the whole day was complete without ever losing a plant. So there's some fun trivia for you. Continuing on to day 23, we actually managed to lose a lawnmower. Holy Jesus Christ, on a bike in a chippy chip shop, we have something to talk about. Unfortunately, it was at the end of the day, so we beat it with Barney's big sad sack. Day 24 was a day that actually made me look at my screen for once, and I actually managed to get an impressive save down if I do say so myself. Unfortunately, when a gamer of my calibre locks in, it's all over for the zombies, so we beat this day on our first attempt. On day 25, we meet the final dinosaur of this world, the green one, who is just like the blue one, but bigger. What this fella does is he forces any zombie in front of him near to the end of the lawn instantly, so I had to get my reaction times down and commit to a lawnmower sacrifice early on, but thanks to the great lawnmower sacrifice of 1472 BC, we managed to beat this day on our first try. This kind of interesting day was followed up by day 26, where we couldn't plant on Dave's mould, but somehow this was one of the easiest days in the entire world, and it is exactly where I gave up any sort of hope of having anything interesting to say. Day 27 was a plan your defences day, so we once again went with our old reliable strategy, and it is where I actually learned a massive secret. It turns out, all of these dinosaurs actually have a code name. They are known as Revolver Ocelot, and they are all quadruple agents for the CIA, and they assisted me in this day by pushing their zombie friends towards their death. I knew I liked the red one for a good reason. They were the good guys all along, and thanks to our new friends, we beat this day with Barney's big blue ballsack. Day 28 was actually our very first close call of this entire world, but I suppose it doesn't matter since I beat this day on our first attempt anyway. At this point, I completely forgot to realise there was another new zombie type introduced, the caveman zombie, who literally does fuck all. Apparently their whole gimmick is they don't get knocked back by the primal pea shooter, and I gotta say, that's a fucking terrible gimmick. A whole ass zombie wasted to just counter one plant is completely lame. Continuing on to day 29, we beat the day with given plants, and day 30 was an actual close call once again due to the amount of gags on the screen. But thanks to our jalapeno friend and sad tomato, we once again beat this day on our first attempt. This terrible world goes out with not a bang, but a whimper, since the final day, day 31, was a day we also had to beat with given plants, so we just skip over it. Now we can face the zomboss of this world, where we call up our good old friend, the YouTube commenter Octotinkle, who smikes down zomboss with their incredible lightning power. Thank you for your service, Octotinkle. Now if you want to assist me in my next episode, comment big blue dinosaur balls in the comments below. We are now in the final two worlds, Big Wave Beach and the modern day, and I gotta say, I'm not looking forward to it, but if they're as easy as the Jurassic Marsh, then it probably won't take too long at least. Now, don't forget to subscribe or I'll send Barney after you. Hey, so, fun fact, my outro music has been copyright striked, so instead of outro music, you can just listen to me yap at you for 10 seconds about my current new obsession, baking. Did you know, if you don't let your bread proof enough, then it becomes very dense and very doughy? To circumvent this, make sure it triples in size and make sure to knead it just enough, but not too much.